Thank you for taking the time to join today. One last housekeeping note, please direct questions to the bottom portion of the webinar screen into the Q&A. We'll be monitoring that and answer questions at the end. If you have any general comments, you can direct those into the chat. Thank you for taking the time to join. Grace, I will turn it over to you to kick off today's session.
Thanks, Jacob. Before we begin, I'd like to actually just start briefly with some introductions so everyone has a sense of who your speakers are for today. Anna, would you like to start?
Yes, absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Anna. I'm Director of Engineering here in Aquiva, and for last 12 years, I help development and consulting projects succeed. Thank you very much, and it's great to be here.
Thanks, Anna. Marina, I'll pass it over to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marina. I'm Senior Solution Architect, 24 times certified. My main focus is quote to cash solution, CPQ, billing, any non-Salesforce CPQ, ERP system. And today I'm going to present you functionality of Revenue Cloud Advanced. Thank you for joining us.
And my name's Grace Costa. I'm a solution architect at Aquiva Labs. I have over 15 years of experience in the Salesforce ecosystem, kind of across various clouds. And I'm 11x Salesforce certified. Just in case there's anyone on the call that may not be familiar with Aquiva Labs, I wanted to give a brief overview of who we are and what we do. Our founder originally started Aquiva Labs after some success he had building an ISV in the Salesforce ecosystem. Upon his exit of the ISV, he wanted to turn his attention to helping other ISVs do the same by achieving success in partnership with Salesforce. Since then, we have been in the market for 9 years. We are now an organization of over 220 Akivans. We are an expert product developer outsourcer, and that is where our roots began. With a significant product-oriented mindset, we are also a summit partner performing a significant number of digital transformations and implementations of core Salesforce products. We happen to be a top tier in both worlds, which really makes us unique. As you can see here, we have a global reach, a global team, and we cater to some of Salesforce's largest OEM partners and customers using the platform as well. So that's Aquiva. In terms of today's session, there are 4 main areas we want to touch on relevant to considering or planning a migration from CPQ to RCA. I'm excited to share what we're seeing in the market, why Salesforce is shifting focus from CPQ legacy to Revenue Cloud Advanced, describe the business value, and how you can prepare for a smooth transition. So why now? Let's begin with a little history lesson. Salesforce acquired SteelBrick in December of 2015, and it became the foundation for Salesforce's configure price quote product offering for the following years. Customer demand fueled expansion to incorporate many other feature enhancements. However, almost every customer of CPQ has faced significant challenges implementing and maintaining their investment. This is due to a few flaws. First and foremost, Salesforce continued to operate its CPQ product offering from the original SteelBrick managed package, which is relatively inflexible both from a data model and an automation perspective. Second, bolting on feature enhancements over time made supporting certain business models prone to workarounds and headaches. Third, gaps in functionality, such as order management lifecycle, usage-based billing, contract redlining, etc., either required custom development or integrations with third parties, adding to complexity. And lastly, long-term maintenance to support CPQ, even at the most simplistic level of product catalog changes, often create unintended downstream impacts due to over-customization and technical debt. So where are we today? Salesforce CPQ has entered what Salesforce calls maintenance mode. This means there will be no more major continued innovations, just patching and support. Salesforce has also announced CPQ as end of sale, so unless you are already a customer, they will no longer advertise or sell the product to anyone else. Salesforce has transitioned its focus to Revenue Cloud Advanced following the grassroots platform-native approach that has proven customer success for decades and is the backbone of all other Salesforce foundational product offerings. As with all things, Salesforce is responding to market shifts where organizations are demanding the ability to monetize with custom consumption-based, subscription-based, and hybrid models centered around the digital-first buying experience. Customers have also raised the bar and expect flexibility, transparency, and extensibility from the products they adopt and invest in. So how do the two compare? In CPQ, we were constrained with a managed package, custom objects, custom APIs, direct sales focus. In RCA, everything is native, standard objects, API first, designed for omnichannel. This is why we're seeing clients treat this not as a patch, but as a transformation opportunity. Salesforce's Revenue Cloud Advanced is the future. It will bring velocity into your sales cycles and operational efficiency, bridging interdepartmental gaps, as well as reducing your technical overhead. Its platform-centric model unifies the entire quote-to-revenue lifecycle, and keeping with the theme of Customer 360, it joins other areas of the business together and keeps your organization accessible and best-of-breed capabilities for the native integrations such as omnichannel. It allows you to leverage Omni Studio. It creates the entire foundation to enhance the experience through the use of AI. There are many features of Revenue Cloud, from the product catalog through to billing and reconciliation. Over the next few slides, we're going to cover some of the largest value-add opportunities with a focus on pricing, quoting, and order decomposition. I'll give you a moment to review this slide because there is a lot of information here. But we're going to move forward and help you understand all the stages and the entire life cycle. So moving forward, starting with product classification, instead of reinventing the wheel every time you launch something new, you can define a product type once, including its attributes, pricing impacts, and business rules. If you need exceptions, you can still override those at the individual product level. From there, every new product of that type automatically inherits those attributes and settings. That means you don't have to rebuild product structures from scratch each time, which dramatically speeds up your time to market. The result is faster product launches and greater consistency. You're reducing errors, staying compliant with policies, and ensuring a standardized approach across the entire catalog. This capability really streamlines the product lifecycle, and it's a key reason why organizations are finding Revenue Cloud a better fit than legacy CPQ. Later, we are going to see this in a demo. Let's talk about pricing, one of the most complex and high-impact parts of the revenue lifecycle. With Revenue Cloud, pricing management is centralized. Instead of having rules, discounts, and product details scattered across multiple systems, you have a single location where all pricing processes live. That means you can manage products, attributes, discounts, and adjustments in one place. At the core, you're working with predefined objects like products, attributes, classifications, price books, and contracts. These are all standard building blocks that help you maintain structure and consistency. On top of that, there's a discount calendar, which gives you a visual timeline of all active discounts, making it easy to see what's running, what's upcoming, how it impacts the business. And then there's integration and automation, APIs and flows, including headless pricing, allow you to bring these rules into any channel or system. Pricing actions are context-aware, so whether you're in a quote, in an order, a contract, an op, or even a case, the right pricing logic is applied automatically. So the value here is really twofold. You get stronger governance and consistency across pricing, but also the agility to execute changes quickly across the entire revenue lifecycle. In CPQ, you got the waterfall, but it was fixed. In RCA, you build your own. You choose whether you want volume-based discounts applied before or after manual discounts, for example. The pricing designer lets you orchestrate elements, run simulations, and adjust. This means your pricing logic is not just visible, but testable and explainable. These are some other new capabilities as well. Formulas for dependencies, automatic contract terms, cost tracking for margin visibility, and role-based waterfall views. Finance sees margin, sales doesn't. Same quote, different perspectives. One of the most powerful areas of Revenue Cloud is how it handles contracts. Because it's natively integrated into Salesforce, contracts are no longer a standalone process. They're linked directly with opportunities, quotes, orders, and even custom objects. So your teams have a single source of truth. And through contract APIs, you can automate creation and updates, or even tailor industry-specific workflows. On the document side, you get full lifecycle support. You can generate documents, manage versioning, and even handle redlining directly inside Salesforce. E-signature is built in through DocuSign, making execution much faster. There's also a template designer for Word, PowerPoint, or Omni Studio, and a centralized clause library to ensure consistency and compliance. And this is where AI really starts to add real value. With contracts, AI powered by Einstein GPT, you can generate smart clauses, digitize legacy contracts, and even extract obligations automatically. That ties directly into obligation management, assigning, tracking, monitoring, compliance commitments across your entire organization. Finally, everything is guided by an end-to-end state model, ensuring contracts progress consistently through that draft review, red line signed, and ultimately renewal flow. So what used to be a fragmented manual process becomes a seamless, automated, and intelligent lifecycle, all within Salesforce. In Revenue Cloud Advanced, contract lifecycle management follows a structured state model that moves agreements consistently at the most basic form from draft, review, red line, signed, renewal. We talked about that previously. But along the way, automation, version control, and integrated e-signature ensure accuracy, compliance, and faster execution across the entire process. You can see the full end-to-end lifecycle depicted here. I'll give you a second before we move on. All right, one of the biggest challenges organizations face in turning a complex deal into something that can actually be fulfilled. Revenue Cloud Advanced makes this seamless with automated order decomposition. That means when you sell a bundle, a service package, or multiple add-ons, the system automatically breaks it down into fulfillment-ready components. This isn't random, it's rule-driven. Qualification and configuration rules determine how those orders should be decomposed, ensuring accuracy and consistency. Once decomposed, those suborders can be routed to the right downstream systems, whether that's billing, provisioning, logistics, or even external partners. And because the framework is industry agnostic, it works just as well for SaaS as it does for communications, manufacturing, or retail. Finally, all of this is seamlessly integrated back into RCA. Your quoting, contracting, billing, and revenue recognition processes are connected end-to-end, which eliminates handoff errors and accelerates fulfillment. Automated decomposition streamlines fulfillment by reducing manual intervention and errors, which means faster, more reliable delivery. It also scales operations to handle high-volume, complex bundles while giving teams the ability to adapt rules as products and processes evolve, ultimately improving customer experience with accurate on-time orders. You can see from the diagram, we decide what the dependencies and rules are. We can define our own process. We don't have to do things sequentially from suborder 1 through 3. We have complete control over the rules engine. So you've heard me talk about all these cool new features, but I'm sure you're ready to see it in action. I'm going to hand it over to Marina to perform a live demonstration. Thank you all.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to show you experience and I'm going to wear different hats. First, I'm going to be a salesperson. Then I will be product owner, the product designer. I can show you how easy you can create new product. You can reconfigure existing SKU. Let's start. So what you see right now is familiar for everyone quote interface. We have a details, we have related records, and in legacy CPQ, we had a button to be able to redirect to quote line editors to configure and price our quote lines. We don't need to do this anymore. Instead, we see it inside of a quote interface. And to add products to the catalog, I'm just going to click Browse Catalog. For this demo, we created product catalog with imaginary company that sell software, AI solution, also provide services and sell training. And training, with training, you can also get certified and become a partner for imaginary company. From our experience in many CPQ implementation, when we remediate your product catalog, I can already tell 2 points how we can reduce number of SKU in your catalog. One example would be different selling models. The same product, let's say training product, you can sell like one-time product or you can sell subscription evergreen. The client has all the time access to this training product or to this software, and every time you do update and other company, you do upgrade of your product, you'll have all the time access to redo exam, do additional training. And another example would be subscription term, but subscription term can be different billing scenarios. It can be monthly, it can be quarterly billing, or it can be annual billing. For each selling model in legacy CPQ, we have to create separate SKU to be able to support different selling models. You don't have to do this anymore in RCA because it's out of the box functionality. You have only one SKU with many attributes, with many selling models to easy maintain. Another example would be that we see the one SKU has different permutation. Example would be support, right? If you can look on support, we can provide premium support, we can provide premium plus support. And if I'm on premium support, in RCA, we call it attributes, right? We can define many, right now, with current release, up to 20 different attributes per one SKU. This approach will significantly 60-70% reduce your product catalog. It will help you to easy maintain catalog, easy to upgrade. A attribute has a lot of functionality. We can filter it. Okay, e-commerce experience. I'm going to show you example. Let me show you. Let's say even after we've completed remediation and we remove all the duplicate SKUs just to support your configuration and pricing during a sales process, and you still have a catalog with hundreds of SKUs. The RCA introduces to the filtering capability, same experience as you have on Amazon or Zara. Example would be, I have a client and right now with my current quote, I want only find courses that satisfy delivery method with my client requested. Example, my client maybe want only purchase virtual courses, or maybe only advanced because they already completed basic training and they would like to purchase advanced. So the filter functionality can be applied on any attribute, and later in the demo, I'll show you how easy it's to configure with only few clicks to be able to filter it any SKU, slice and dice on any parameter that you have defined on your SKU. The attribute also can trigger the price changes. Example would be, again, I'm gonna go back to, just a second, to support. And depend, just one second. Depends on which support level we select. The price will be change. In RCA, we call it attribute-driven price calculation. Right now, it's $9.99. But if I change to premium support, the price change. And this price is not defined on the SKU itself, it's defined on attribute. We're going to talk later of all possible discount scenarios, how easy to configure them. But I want to go back to interface. Let's talk about bundles, right? We're all familiar with bundles. And one of the examples that I had difficulty on every CPQ project explain client why we need bundles, and bundle, it's not just a promotion or holiday package or something what you through a year sell as a package. We need in CPQ bundle to be able to control all the elements inside of the bundle. Dependencies, what can be purchased if product A can be purchased with product B, or if product B was purchased, product C cannot be added to the quote. All this limitation in legacy CPQ requires to create bundles, and as a result, we polluted the product catalog with SKUs that actually a client doesn't need, or you as a CPQ owner doesn't need this because you have to maintain them. In RCA Remedy Cloud Advanced, you don't have to do any of this because all the rules you define on behavior, visibility, territory dependency, you can define or per quote or per client, or when I'm saying per client, example would be, let me show you one example. Let's say it's my existing client, they came to us and they want to purchase additional products. One of example would be before, to be able to see what exactly client already has. And in Salesforce CPQ, we had this scenario, we had two types of product. One is subscription and one is asset. And it's created difficulty to know what exactly client purchased, because assets records were stored on account. Subscription were stored in a contract object, and contract was stored on account. RCA doesn't have any of this. Everything what you sold to a client is an asset. asset can be one-time product, like a physical product or book or printer or any device you sold, or subscription. I'm right now on a quote. I don't have to leave interface to know what exactly my client purchased before. I can just click add asset, and it's gonna present me all information. It's not just gonna present me information, what product, what quantity. It's also gonna present me if it's still active, this asset, is this subscription, or it got expired. The next, what I would like to show you, the bundles, right? Let me show you bundles. They will switch to different interface. 1 second. I'll show you something. Another limitation we have to deal with in Salesforce CPQ, nested bundles. Usually we keep on telling clients Salesforce best practices do not have more than one level deep bundles. FCA doesn't have this limitation. You can go as many levels as you need. It's literally no limitation how deep bundle can be built. I just mentioned before about selling models. I was talking when we will start remediate, working on migration from CPQ to RCA. The first what we're gonna get rid of all SKUs that support different purchasing options. One time, term base, because it is no need to support those redundant SKUs to be able to provide different selling models per product. You just easily can select on a product, or you can define this on account, and quote will inherit this value. Let's say you have a client that evergreen, you would like to move client with same exactly products to contract term to get from client commitment. As a salesperson, I won't need to populate it manually. All this value will be inherited from account, or on a quote, I will define the reason why I'm doing amend scenario to transition it from evergreen product to a subscription term. And while configuring products, all products listen to my rules and will be automatically converted to the term base and provided the price. Let's say we completed our purchase. We finished sales process. Opportunity close one. We handled our quote to order fulfillment to customer success team. And during when we started implementation, we discovered that some of the items, some of the assets missing to start provision it, the order the client purchased it. Before in Salesforce CPQ, we had two options that we usually recommend to the client. One is the option if order wasn't yet activated, especially if you implement CPQ in Salesforce billing, or you implement CPQ integration to any ERP system. Usually in order, it's something that trigger a creation of all accounting ERP data inside of Salesforce or in NetSuite. Then it's still ERP system, order can be start provisioned, invoices can be start generated, payments can be start generated. And usually we used to tell to client, if you already activated order, then you have to redirect to the contracts. You have to click button amend, create amend opportunity, make changes with item what was missing, close opportunity one. As a result, generate new order. Option one, really a long process, and I have to involve sales, especially if I'm in order fulfillment team, customer success team. I don't have directly access to opportunity. As a result, I cannot do all this without sales team or without manager help. Another scenario option, we were telling clients, if order still in status draft, just delete this order. And again, you have to go to opportunity. You need to ask someone to reopen this opportunity to add additional item. None of this headache exists in RCA anymore, because this interface, browse catalog, can be exposed on absolutely any object. In our scenario that I just described, we need it on the order. We need it on the order. Let me show you order, just 1 second. Order. So let's say I have an order and something is missing. My next step was customer success. I'm just gonna go to account and I'm gonna create new order. The same way exactly the order created. I created sole purposes with them. I just click button, create order. Right now it's in the status draft, and I just need to add additional items. Salesforce CPQ had limitation because it was JavaScript interface, and to be able to add new items outside of a quote process to the account, we had to create a quote, and we had to do it in JavaScript interface. RCA is API driven. That means absolutely everything is API. As a result, I can calculate, configure, apply all the dependencies, all the discounts that client has, literally from any interface. I can do it from the contact, I can do it from the order, I can do it from a custom object. And as a result, I'm gonna always see this interface because it's not JavaScript anymore. The simple answer. Okay, let's say I need to add something, right? Support. I forgot to add support. As a result, I can complete this order, and we already implemented to one of the client, and client asked me that we recognize revenue on the order. Yes, true. You recognize revenue if you do have revenue recognition process in your org, or order creation, order activation, triggering revenue recognition outside of Salesforce. Usually it's happen on activation because we created order and started draft. I don't need Salesforce sales team to be involved because I just need to add support to continue my order fulfillment. The item was added. I'm going to activate the order. It's going to go to the asset. It's going to generate asset on account. And I don't have to talk to my manager to be able to complete this operation. I don't need to ask sales to reopen opportunity or create additional opportunity. The work is done just in few clicks. Next, what I would like to show you, the asset, how asset look like. As I mentioned before, in Salesforce CPQ, we had subscription and we had asset. And to be able to understand what client actually own, we need to go to account, see the asset. We need to go to account contract to see the subscription. Right now, everything is an asset. Not only this, as part of RCA, you have access to analytics. Example would be my order. I have an order. On the order, I have asset. Asset can be exposed directly on account, or asset can be grouped in one of the on a contract object. Whatever you decide, it's very easy to configure with only a few clicks. I'm right now on asset, and I would like to see asset life cycle. Example, during a subscription term, client came to us, they downgrade quantity, or they upsell, they purchase it one seat and they decided to move to 100 seat. I'm going to see all this information here. Then it's changed, why it's changed. On top of this, we're going to see all the MRR calculation, what was predicted before. This dashboard is not really good example because nothing's happened with this specific asset. All I see as expected where client purchased one item and expected revenue for subscription term, $25 per month. This is one of the example. And we can decide how we want to run report per quantity, per amount, per revenue. A few more configuration can be done to see the asset lifecycle management, but I don't want to focus on this now. And I just want to remind everyone, what I'm showing today is only 1% of RCA functionality. And RCA Revenue Cloud Advanced, it's not upgraded CPQ. It's completely new platform that have many functionalities that CPQ didn't have, and it wouldn't be even possible to build it on the CPQ platform. Next, what I want to show you is usually when you create new product, go to market. Even if you have 1,000, 20,000 SKUs in your product catalog, when we start remediating your product catalog and we'll start analyzing your business, most probably with 20,000 SKUs, you have maximum 5-10 product types. Example would be this company, right? This company is selling software, is selling support, selling training, and selling exam. So far, we have only 4 product types. We have a product software that can be evergreen, can be subscription term, can have different models, but it is a software, right? Product type number 2, training. Training can be for the admins, for the users, can be different duration, can be different level, can be different delivery methods, but it's one product type. It's a training. Third one would be exam. right? Another one can be access to API calls because we are a software company. So far, we have 3-4 product types, and each product type has its own attributes. Example would be training program. In FCA, we call it product classification. Training product has, for now, 3 attributes. You can define up to 20 attributes on each product classification, and you can attach up to 20,000 generated SKU to this product classification. What do I mean by this? Those attributes can be price driven. Each attribute, change in attributes can change the price. You can assign different rules. If value from attribute number 1 was chosen, that only the second value from attribute 2 can be selected and attribute 3 cannot be available. All what you can imagine, scenarios, conditions, and dependencies that you have ideas in your business can be implemented just with few clicks. Let's say the configured product type, product classification, right? As business, you would call it product type. In our CA, we're going to call it product classification. Training program, right? We configure it all the attributes. This is exactly how we know all our trainings going to look like. Now, I need to create new training. Our marketing come up with new training. We have already training materials. We're ready to go to the market. How easy is it to create? I'm going to show you example. Let's go to the product. I'm just click on button new product. And when I click on new product, we see right now 2 types of products, commercial and technical. Soon in a few minutes, I'm going to show you order decomposition functionality of Revenue Cloud. What do I mean by this? Usually we should have 2 product catalogs. One is commercial product catalog that each SKU in this catalog might or might not has price tag, something the SKUs that we show to the client, they control the total price of the quote we presented in doc generation to the quote we sent to the client. They actually have a value, price value. Second product catalog, it's a technical product catalog. We have SKUs, let's say provision, give access to our software. This should be SKU, right? I sold software, the sales process completed, we have fulfillment, and fulfillment as a result, technician need to provide access to this software, provide licenses, maybe learning seats, if it's training, maybe seat, access to B2B, let's say we're talking about B2B, company purchase from us software with 10 seats access. Someone need to provision those access to those 10 users. This is what we call technical SKU. As a salesperson, when I wear a salesperson hat, I don't need to see technical skills. They will be hidden from me during the sales. And then order will be created as a customer success team. I will have access to all the technical skills and only to those commercial skills that I actually needed to see as part of my implementation process. For now, we're going to go and create commercial skill. I'm going to click next. And all I need to do, let me do just demo, right? We're going to call it demo training. Demo training. And all I need to say, based on, just 1 second, based on. I'm selecting my product classification, my product type, one of few, you don't need more. Even my last project, we did remediation of product catalog 75,000, and they found only 4 product types after we completed remediation. Even though when we started a discovery session, the client was telling us that we have 100 different product types, but by the end, they realized it's only few. Okay, let me click create products, click save, 2 clicks. My new product demo training created, and it inherits all the attributes from product type. And if those attributes have assigned price, different price calculation, my new product will inherit. If those attributes have any product rules, dependencies, how height, alert, validation, my new product will inherit. So with only 2 clicks, I was able to create new SKU ready to go to market, new training. The next step, what I will need to do as product owner, I will need to activate, but before I activate, I need to define what exactly is different between product classification as example would be price books. I need to create price book entry manually to define price. Next example, what I want to show you, what about bundles, right? We're talking about that in RCA right now, you can have as many level as you want nested bundles. And as a result, the bundle self-creation can take forever to configure this bundle. And now promotion, holidays coming, and as part of the holiday, we will come up with promotion, the package. Usually take months for the business and for the CPQ admin to be able to build and test correct bundle for this specific scenario. And RCA, you do it in a few clicks. This feature called deep clone. And when I say deep clone in only a few minutes, I mean it because during implementation, when we migrated from CPQ to RCA, and if you tell us, I don't have just bundle with standard related records. I also have maybe lookup table that I have complex metrics calculation, price calculation, right? And it's a custom object where I store this information. And this bundle attached to this, I need to be able, new bundle also be using this information. No problem at all. Deep clone, you decide how deep you want to clone existing bundle. Let's look at this advanced training. And I didn't even show yet that absolutely everything in RCA has visual. Advanced training has few more bundles inside, and another bundle inside, in group inside, and another one, kill dependencies, and another one, and go on, go on. This bundle is one of the most complex that I have in this demo org. What I would like to do, I would like to clone it. I will not rename it demo or promotion or holiday or whatever we decide. And again, in a few clicks, I was able to clone bundle with everything it has. And if you're gonna look in the structure, my demo advanced training has exactly everything my source bundles had. Now, let's say I would like to make a changes. I don't want skill development in this promotion, right? You only give few clicks and tell it exclude this component. Done. This component won't be presenting on this bundle anymore. If I would like to override something, I can define override attributes. This bundle doesn't have inherit attributes, but I want to go back and show you another important thing that I was telling you when I was presenting you product classification. I forgot to mention it inherit my attribute, and I can override this attribute. All attributes that remain the same, not overwritten. Every time when I go to my product classification, let's call it template, and I make changes in attributes, or I add additional attributes, or I remove few attributes from current group, all the children of this product classification will inherit all the changes. Only overwritten attributes will remain the same. What else I want? Before I go to the prices, do we have any questions, or we're gonna keep all the question answers to the end of the demo?
Until the end.
Because I'm
Keep going.
Okay. So we talk about its sales interface. We talk at the product owner, how easy it's to configure, how easy it's to control, how easy to make changes. Let's say we have 20,000 SKUs that inherit all the attributes and rules from product classification, and we need to add additional attributes. We just go to product classification and create easily here attribute. Let's say I want to add additional value, attribute pick list value. I'm just gonna add another value. So easy, like whatever. And absolutely everything will be included. Like I'm just saying you example, right? But if you have more time, I can show you that all children products will inherit exactly in a second all those values. Next, I would like to talk about pricing. In Salesforce, as Grace mentioned before, in Salesforce CPQ, we had price waterfall. It was fixed. We won't be able to make any changes to price waterfall Even if client has very simple basic waterfall, they have price book entry and they have volume discount and plus manual discount. That's it. It won't be possible to remove or change price waterfall. Instead, they had to use what CPQ providers. This is was rare scenario. Most of the time, what we hear, I have my custom calculation for the price. Not only I have my custom calculation for the price during during sales, the interface of the salesperson was cluttering because everyone was asking, "Can I see all the calculation been done?" Let me just add something here. 1 second, I'll show you what I'm talking about. It'll be easy to do it. Very nice. Okay, I'm gonna change quantity, right? I'm gonna change quantity, let's say 200. 1,000, 1,000. Not only this, I'm seeing it right here. Just 1 second. I also want to make another change and change attribute, because right now, what I would like to show you that this specific support skill has attribute-based calculation, price calculation. And also, if I'm not mistaken, volume discount. And just 1 second. It's not showing me. Maybe I forgot. So, well, in CPQ, usually client was telling us we need to present in each column why we have this final price and net unit price. Oh, yeah, it's showing right. And let's say I'm gonna add manual discount. And usually if you have contract discount, volume discount, another discount, promotional discount, what was happening, you have to scroll to be able to see all this cloud. Instead of focusing on what to sell, you focus on how to read this document. You don't have this problem in RCA anymore. You can keep minimum information on the actually columns that you need in this interface. Even list price, you don't have to show it here, because you can see all this information here, just over on the net price, and you're going to see how this price is calculated. Not only this, another problem that we had to deal with, the client is telling us, I don't want to calculate volume discount before attribute discount or before manual discount, or if manual discount was applied, I want to remove a volume discount. Everything is possible in RCA. Not just everything is possible. I can make changes, order of execution of this discount, remove, delete. I can easily delete, no problem, any layer. I can keep it simple. But also another functionality. Let's say I would like to have waterfall A for all my courses calculation and waterfall B to my different product type. Or let's say I would like to have waterfall through the whole year, but during the holidays, I would like to all my product catalog apply holiday waterfall. All this possible, and again, only with few clicks. What else? Yeah. Okay. So one more item before we go to order decomposition, I want to show you now one more item, price adjustment schedules. So when I'm talking about price adjustment schedule, if you look here in interface, you have formula-based pricing. And when you see formula-based pricing, something that was almost impossible to implement in Salesforce CPQ, client tell us our price calculations are very complex. And what we're doing right now, we use Excel, we use something else, Power BI, where we calculate, do our calculation, and then we manually apply those prices. Many different ways how clients are suffering with custom calculation. It is not problem anymore in RCA. You can store this formula on custom object anywhere, but anywhere in Salesforce, you can store this information, your calculation, different variables, and then you just add formula based. And you have many different types how you would like it to calculate the proration, how you want to round it, how you want to apply tier discount or subscription price. All these, whatever you desire, the way how you want to calculate your price, it's possible to implement right now in RCA, and it's no limitation. And in RCA, we call it this price adjustment schedule. Let's say this one, I want to show you attribute-based adjustment, right? Depending on which value of attribute salesperson choose, the price will be impact. Let's say, let's look on this one. Just 1 second. This support level, Platinum Plus support, I would like to give 15% discount, right? Or I would like to override. So in Salesforce CPQ, we had only purchases, only amount. In RCA, we got third one, override. So not just apply. My recommendation usually as senior solution architect, I would recommend clients do not use hard-coded, hard-written amounts because then it will be really hard to maintain instead of use percentages. And we never even talk about override current price. And RCA, you can override current price, and this override amount can be calculated from some formula that getting these values from records and stored in some custom object. And as again, it's going to take you only seconds to see this calculation in RCA. Not even close to this calculation. The moment we step away from out-of-the-box functionality in Salesforce CPQ, we have to wait 20 seconds, 30 seconds to calculation to happen. And we're not even sure if calculation completed correctly. In RC, you don't have this problem anymore. It's all API calls. Nothing is actually done on your interface in JavaScript on front end. Everything is happening on backend. And this calculation is happening in milliseconds. Next, we talk about product configuration. We talk about how easy it's to create new product, how easy it's to create a complex bundle, how easy it's to right now to create different calculation and control waterfall and to have your own price waterfall. There's no limitation how you calculate your price and discounts. Before we go to order fulfillment, I would like you to show you something very interesting. I think it's open it. It's called discount calendar. Well, just give me a second. I hope it's here somewhere.
Hey, Marina, we're running up
Yeah.
on time. This might be actually a good place to pause. And just for the attendees' sake, just so you guys know, this is kind of the first of probably several webinars that we're planning on hosting regarding RCA. So anything that we aren't able to share today, we'll plan on sharing in a later session. All right. Thank you. So
Yeah. Sorry about that. I was planning to show you amazing functionality order decomposition, and maybe we can schedule another day very soon. Or I would like maybe we're gonna share with you after this webinar list of all our futures we would like to show you, and we would like you to go and select which one would you like to see first. Back to you, Grace.
Thanks, Marina. All right, so a few more things that we want to make sure that everybody is aware of, because I think this is pretty critical to your consideration of whether or not it makes sense, and what timing makes sense for migrating from CPQ to RCA. So I want to talk about the migration playbook. Migration is not a lift and shift. RCA is a different product, has a different architecture. Even when we automate, we recommend refactoring. Otherwise, you won't unlock RCA's power. We categorize migration into 3 buckets: automated, assisted, and manual. Automated items map fairly cleanly. Assisted need human intervention, and manual means redesign. This framework sets the expectations up front so you kind of know what you're getting into. This is a practical view. This matrix summarizes the entire migration landscape. You can see areas that migrate smoothly, like bundles and basic discounts. Some that need partial help, like rules and advanced pricing schedules. Other require redesign, like price rules and dynamic bundles. And importantly, we don't migrate some at all, because RCA replaces some functionality with better models, like Salesforce contracts and managed assets. Those we have to implement for the first time. There's not really, a quick and easy migration tool for those. But the key takeaway is that migration is your chance to reimagine. Don't just move objects. Refactor your catalog, rethink your pricing, simplify your install base. RCA is not simply CPQ 2.0. It's a new paradigm, and our role is to guide you safely and effectively through this transition. I'd like to hand it over to Anna to talk a little bit about our methodology.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Grace. So let me tell you a few words about how we approach the migration project from engineering, from a project management point of view. So first thing I want to share with you that can guarantee a success is something that was already mentioned, that you need to document your process, your requirements, and use this as an opportunity to optimize it, to get rid of the obsolete ideas, and also ask yourself, why actually are we doing stuff this way? Maybe we can do it better way. Maybe we can do it faster in a more optimal manner. So this is something I recommend for you to do this kind of mental exercise and write down all the decision points that you will be making during that process. The second thing I would recommend is to introduce automated regression testing. CPQ is a mission critical thing for most of the companies. And you want to be sure that the things that work, that are critical, also work after you've done the transition to the new system. So automate the tests, automate the most common, the most popular use cases, and then run the testing during the transition to make sure that everything that is important for you still works even after the transition. And on top of that, I would add one more thing related to testing. It is very important to have stable, repeatable testing experience. You will be working with multiple testing environments in Salesforce. I would assume you will have a testing environment for integrations, maybe one for user acceptance testing, maybe then a separate one for training. You want them to be identical. You want them, if something passes the test on one environment, you have exactly the same configuration on another one. You can achieve that with a source code repository and automated deployments, automated pipelines that will move your code, your configuration across environments. Don't depend on luck, don't depend on manual actions. Try to automate as much of it as possible. One more thing that I would like to mention is to avoid big bang go live. It is tempting, as this is, this huge thing, this whole CPQ, to migrate everything at once. But Maria showed us that there are multiple different modules and components inside of this product. So why risk the big bang? Why risk employee confusion, maybe some downtimes? Let's introduce this module by module, learn from it, get everyone onboarded, get the solution adopted, and only then finish it with going through it model by model. So don't do it all at once. Try to do it in small steps whenever possible. And one more thing to add on top of that, because you can have a great testing environment, you can have everything documented, but then you go live and you discover that you forgot about something. Maybe this is this very important use case or this situation that was hard to reflect in test environments, and suddenly you cannot work. You cannot go on with the solution. So you need to be able to do a rollback. You need to be able to go back to your previous solution for a moment while the development team is fixing the issue, or maybe while you are deciding how do you want to approach the process in the new world. So please remember that we always hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. And with that in mind, we try to have backups, rollbacks, tests, and all the other stuff that makes for a reliable development process and reliable development experience. And that's all from me. So Grace, back to you.
Thank you, Anna. All right. So as we discussed, migration isn't automatic. It requires strategy and planning. The good news is we will follow our playbook. The key phases begin with a readiness assessment, capturing business goals, current state challenges, and technical requirements. We recommend moving into a proof of concept phase. This is designed to de-risk the plan and test, small test cases to ensure that RCA meets your needs. And lastly, depending on the size and complexity of your organization, we may recommend taking a phased implementation approach, kind of, stemming off of some of the things that Anna was just describing with the Big Bang. One of the ways that we mitigate that is that we focus on specific brands or segments in a pilot for your organization before doing a full-scale rollout. So this might mean taking a hybrid approach and running both systems in parallel temporarily. But by approaching it this way, organizations can reduce technical debt, minimize risk, and accelerate time to value. At Aquiva, we bring the dual perspective of both a PDO and a system integrator. That means we don't just understand Salesforce Revenue Cloud as an end user platform. We help implement it with a keen eye towards scalability and extensibility. To help organizations take the first step, we're offering a free readiness assessment to our webinar attendees. Please contact us to schedule yours. If you're considering this move, this is the best way to clarify and gain momentum. Thank you all for joining. Now we're going to open it up to your questions.
Awesome. Thank you. I will start sharing the questions that we got during the presentation.
I can take this question, Grace, if you want.
Awesome.
Yeah. Adoption functionality and features. Right now, so far, it's already been 6 releases, and the biggest release we are waiting for Dreamforce to announce. I already, as a partner, watched the release. Is many excited things. Example would be on one product classification. You right now you already can attach 20,000. You can have your product catalog for 10,000 with no limitation or slow functionality. Something I would never, as an architect, recommend to have 10,000 SKUs, because my job is to help you to remediate and reduce number of SKUs. But just telling you this information, a filtering functionality, currently it's a 20%. Many 70% what you can see in RCA doesn't exist in CPQ. This is why we would never recommend just migrate from CPQ to Revenue Cloud. It's two completely different platforms. It's a full cycle. As part of your license, you also get access to full lifecycle management. Salesforce contracts that Grace mentioned before, something what you had to purchase separately, let's say Conga lifecycle management, any other lifecycle contract lifecycle management platform, you get it with Salesforce license, RCA license. Another functionality there are order decomposition, project management, for products you sell can be done inside of RCA, and something what we didn't have enough time, we did prepare this part to present you, and maybe this is how we're going to start our next webinar, show you what is happening as part of RCA after you complete a sales process, how many amazing features exist in RCA, and it's a part of your license. So I wouldn't tell RCA has limitation on apps, because every release, right now Salesforce main focus on RCA platform, and not just RCA platform, but also, if you remember, some of you implemented also Salesforce billing. Salesforce billing, I did many billing implementation, and I had to talk to many revenue recognition professionals and many accountants, and they keep on telling me how many limitations billing has that we have to deal day to day. Salesforce right now offering under umbrella of revenue cycle management two models. One is RCA, something what we show today. It's until you even can configure usage consumption based SKUs. But to be able to actually consume and have a wallet on account, you need to use a second model that's called Revenue Cloud Billing Platform. The Revenue Cloud Billing Platform, right now I'm working on a project when we are moving from NetSuite to Revenue Cloud Billing Platform. A client very excited with the functionality what we see, especially the problems we had to deal with in NetSuite. Next one, CPQ configuration, difficult to migrate due to being different. Yes, it's true. In CPQ, we had a lot of linking data. And as an example, most of the time, what we have deal in CPQ, it's business rules and price rules, right? And many redundant SKU was generated as a bundle. Example, what I gave you, we have to create a bundle, or we have to create SKU to support different billing scenarios. Before migrating, it has to happen remediation process to check everything what we can remove, not just move blindly from one platform to another, because it doesn't make any sense.
I think
During
that's
migration.
Marina, I think the question is also related to the fact that CPQ is very data based. It's based on like configuration defined as data. The quotes are defined as data. So I think the question is also, is RCE configuration data that is hard to migrate, or is it more about metadata or some other?
50-50. 50-50. So CPQ like a Conga, if many of you have Conga Composer, right? CPQ, Conga Composer, advanced approvals, with data configuration, right? It's not something what we configure on background. We need to create records. RCA, it's 50-50. 50 of records, 50% of configuration, it's a data. But what is important to understand, it's completely new approach. Everything is visual. To add, remove, it's all visual interfaces. Some of you who are familiar with Salesforce Flows interfaces or Omni Studio. So RCA, it's upgraded version, how with few clicks, you don't have to be admin, you don't have to even be Salesforce admin. You have to be only price manager or product manager to be able to configure. You don't have to have Salesforce admin in your team to be able to make changes to RCA. This is what is important to understand. Yes, it's 50-50. In each release, Salesforce move more items to the back platform, to the settings, but it's only initial configuration. After we do initial setup, changes, modification in your prices and in your products can be done visual and interface. Another what is important for clients who have huge product catalogs, right? So this latest release, Salesforce supports CSV files. So the part what is data related, Salesforce provides already with templates that you can deploy all your changes by using the loader. How to organize, minimize the sales productivity during migration. So again, this is what we can do through a technical assessment. We need to understand how back you would like to go with your history record. And best recommendation is only to migrate records. Very important to remember. CPQ was all custom objects. 95% of data was stored in a custom object. RCA, it's all standard object. It's a standard quote line, standard object product, order, a contract. Absolutely everything is standard. Meaning it's going to be minimum impact during migration. And because your CPQ records store in custom object and RCA store in standard object, maybe not everything you will need to migrate for historical data because you will have access to both platform records inside of your Salesforce. We will decide together what is the best approach migration for your specific scenario.
I'm going to jump in on the licensing cost one quickly. So for those of you that are curious about this, RCA does follow the same kind of user-based cost approach as other Salesforce clouds, but they are starting to move into kind of one of their newer pricing models that you may have also seen with other things like Agentforce recently, which is they're adding an element of consumption-based pricing as well. So it's a little bit different than CPQ. I believe the RCA list price that's advertised right now is $200 per user per month. Don't quote me on that, but obviously you can negotiate the pricing around that and kind of take into consideration that consumption-based pricing as well.
And also important to add, in this price, when you pay for CPQ license, you pay only for CPQ, right? If you need to doc generation, you need separately pay to Conga, right? If you need project management, you need separately paid for project management. When you buy RCA, inside of RCA, you get full order fulfillment decomposition and plus full contract lifecycle management. And it's this all under umbrella RCA license.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So the thing to really think about is that, you're reducing your customizations, you have a faster time to market, it's a unified platform. So when you factor in lower technical debt and streamline operations, most organizations are seeing a stronger ROI over time. Okay, so what's the best way to connect RCA with ERP or external billing systems? I think as, Maria had mentioned several times, in her demo, RCA has really strong integration patterns through APIs and flows. Like it's very API based. So this means that we have a lot of flexibility when we're trying to integrate it with external ERP systems if we're not going to use, billing inside RCA itself. So it really can kind of fit into any architecture that you have.
Not only this, if you see promotion videos about RCA, they always start API first. What it means, as I show you, right? I show you after sales process completed, I'm able to configure and price on the order or any other custom object. Just click product catalog. In many implementations, I saw the customer have commerce, or they have a B2C scenario, or they have B2B scenario that they have custom portal built for their partners, right? And for them, to be able to calculate CPQ prices, you have to purchase Salesforce Experience Cloud licenses, or you have to build very complicated technical, with a lot of technical depth solution to be able to use those dependencies that you have in CPQ in front end. With RCA, you don't have this problem anymore. We call it headless orders. Then order get created without require creating opportunity. Example, B2C. B2C, you don't actually need opportunity. You need client goal, gateway price, same experience how you purchase Netflix, right? And in this quote, while client trying to complete the purchase, gonna inherit all the customization you done in your Salesforce. It's very easy because absolutely every piece in RCA support API. It has API for each model, including order implementation. This is why it's very easy to connect to any ERP system, any custom portal.
Awesome. Thank you. So the next one about moving contracts, quotes, and pricing, I think we've kind of already answered that when we talked about migration of data. So I'm going to move on to, is RCA better suited for certain industries, or is it flexible enough for all? I think we've mentioned this, but RCA is really industry agnostic, and it supports really any industry out there. So, we've seen a lot of SaaS, communications, manufacturing, a lot of organizations that have complex hybrid businesses. Its flexibility comes from configuration-driven pricing, the order management capabilities, and the contract lifecycle tools that it provides, which means it really adapts to your processes rather than forcing you into like a one-size-fits-all model. So it's definitely, very flexible and able to kind of take on what you need. All right. Well, thank you all. Appreciate the time hanging out with us today. Hopefully this was valuable, and we'll definitely be planning on scheduling a few more of these to go into some other features and functionality.
Thanks for attending.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.